Hi, my name's Dave Clark. I'm an instructional specialist at Butler County Educational Service Center, and I'm going to talk to you about the Virtual Learning Collaborative Option 1 that is offered through our agency to districts who choose to have our agency provide both the curriculum and the instruction for students who choose to learn from home. I'm going to go through some of the details of the program, give you some information, and then provide you with some resources at the end to further look at, and then possibly, if you have questions, let us know what those questions or concerns are. Option 1 of the VLC is based on an instructional model or framework that we designed with students in mind. We wanted to create the best possible experience for students choosing to learn at home that supports their academic and social emotional needs as well. So I'd just like to share with you some of the details of that program. Looking at the teacher, expectations and responsibilities of the teacher include instruction and office hours, opportunities for whole group activities up to 3 times weekly to once again support the social emotional needs of learners, feedback and grading of assignments and assessments, communication and attendance tracking are expected of our instructors, collaborating with district intervention specialists if that's something that the student requires. Also, if there is a gifted identification, to collaborate with our gifted coordinator through the ESC to make sure that those needs are being met. And in the case of an extreme need, I would classify it as requesting a home visit when needed, but also respecting the fact that some people have chosen to learn at home because of factors that a home visit wouldn't make sense, that is always something that can be arranged to be done virtually as well. The curriculum that we're going to use will be centered on Ohio's learning standards and provided by a company called Schools PLP, which I'll show you some of their information towards the end of the presentation. There is also going to be an expectation that synchronous or real-time work will be developed by the instructor to enhance the learning platform Schools PLP, which essentially can be envisioned as the textbook. So synchronous work meaning real-time, which means yes, there will be times during a week where the student is expected to log on at a designated time to interact with the teacher and other students. That will be established in a schedule that we will make consistent so that it's easier on both the students and the parents. You can see here that the instructor will meet with alternating groups on a daily basis. So not necessarily will all students be meeting every day with the instructor, but there will be a regularly established calendar for students and or parents or guardians to be aware of. So you can see sometimes this may vary if there's academic support that's needed, assistance with time management, or working on how to work independently, and then obviously servicing IEPs, WEPs, or LEPs as well. All of the synchronous meetings will be held through the Zoom platform and recorded. We will house those recordings in Google Classroom so that they will be accessible for students in the event that they are sick or do not attend on a particular day. Those recordings will be available to them. Middle school teachers, because of the difference in classes, will collaborate to determine student schedules that will work best for them, and courses will be taught in more of a block type structure to allow for a little bit more manageable workload with kids having more than one class. Office hours will be provided. It will be designed to be provided at different times on different days. Our rationale for that is people work different schedules, and we want to make sure that we don't have all of those meeting times at a time when a parent or guardian is unable to be available to talk with a teacher if necessary. We can have questions answered, get clarification, etc. We really do want to make sure that we use the opportunities for group activities. So you can see up to 3 times weekly to really build community, team building activities, whole class check-ins, student-to-student interaction, as well as student-to-teacher interaction. Check-ins and team building times, we're really going to help the teacher to evaluate progress towards learning goals. Learner profiles will be expected to be developed and maintained by the instructors. They'll use a combination of formative assessments and summative assessments to make sure that students are progressing and understanding and mastering the curriculum that they're expected to. to be familiar with. Communication with parents and guardians will be regular. So the expectation from our instructors will be that there will be frequent and regular communication, and we want to make sure that they reach out to you before we begin the academic year, and that it takes place every year and a log is maintained to make sure that that accountability is there and communication is taking place. Taking attendance, we will definitely take and track attendance and make sure that we're in compliance with all of the home district's expectations and mandates. If attendance drops below 80% frequency for any student, that's going to ring a bell for us that we need to make sure that we address that, because we don't want them to miss too much of that synchronous or virtually face-to-face learning time with their instructor. And we'll monitor work completion and things like that to make sure that parents are aware and students are aware if they're making the appropriate level of progress. Students with disabilities, we will maintain and monitor IEPs, and we will do that in conjunction with the intervention specialist from the home district. And if there's any accommodations, modifications, or adjustments that need to be made for that student, we will be certain that our instructors or our teachers will do that. Students with gifted identification will be placed on the caseload of our intervention specialist or coordinator at the ESC. There will be regularly scheduled collaboration times with the specialist. If there's any modifications, enhancements, or accommodations that need to be made, that will be done. And any meetings regarding the WEPs will be regularly held and communicated if a student is identified with a gifted tag. Home visits, we do have embedded into here for the facilitator, which would be me, the opportunity for quarterly home visits. But once again, we will be aware of the fact that that may not be something that some families would want for health concerns, so that can certainly be modified to occur virtually. Just a quick note, we are not break-fix technology people, so the technology that will be issued by the home district, if there's tech concerns, that would be addressed through their technology department, not through our instructors or our agency. Schools PLP is the platform provider, so the digital curriculum or the textbook, if you will. This is where a lot of the work will take place, and we will make sure that students and parents have an understanding of how the platform works, because this will be a frequently accessed space where students get work completed. And in closing, just a couple of things here, regarding what happens next. My suggestion is I'm going to provide you with a link to our instructional model, and you can certainly review that. If you have any questions, I'm going to show you here in just a second a slide where there's a form that you can fill out that can get those questions to me for me and the team at the ESC to answer. And then obviously home districts have deadlines for decisions in order to set things up. One thing that may come up is regarding dates and starting dates. That's going to be announced based on when the district gives us the information for us to determine the number of classes, number of teachers, etc. So dates will be something that as soon as a district closes off enrollment and processes that information and gives it to us, that's when we can start to determine dates itself. So once again, review everything that I'm going to share with you, submit any questions that you may have, and then decide by the appropriate district deadlines. And lastly, these two things, and I'll leave these up here for just a second, and you can see on the top is a link that if you type that directly into your browser, will take you to a Google form, and that's bit.ly/VLC questions. And it is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that it appears the right way. That will take you directly to a Google form where I believe I'm going to ask for an email address just so that I can communicate back with you. Parent and student name, grade level, and then I think there's a field for up to 4 questions. I just did that so you wouldn't have to enter all that information every time. If you have more than 4 questions, yes, you would have to fill out a second form. So that's where you can go to for any questions. And then the link to the instructional model is the link provided below. So that's VLC instruction. So you can see what I was referencing to as I went through. So I'm at 10 minutes. My goal was to make sure this was not more than 10 minutes. So once again, there is the link for questions should you have them. Below is the link to the instructional model that outlines what will occur for learners enrolled in the program. And I encourage you to reach out if you have any questions, and hopefully this will address and answer many of those that you already have. Thank you very much.